We got a quorum.
3:34, y'all ready to roll?
Yeah.
Ready to roll?
But there you go. Psst. Trey, come here real quick.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, sorry. This for the
The,
big machine when we get done.
Public
No, thank
Safety
you.
and Public Works Committee is in session now. There are agendas. If you don't have some more, it's coming. If you don't have one, we'll be following the agenda. Also, just for a little housekeeping, if you got any cell phones, if you can put them on vibrate or silent or something. And when we get to comments, we'll just do it like we do with the city commission meeting. We'll have the at least 3 minutes, and if you not finish up, we'll probably try to let you finish up your thought, but just to give everybody a chance to comment, so we'll try to time it like that. And with that, first item on the agenda is the minutes from May 24th. Any questions on that from the committee?
There's no meeting, so nothing.
Okay, it was no meeting in June, but there's one in May, so we didn't get a chance to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No questions.
no questions.
No questions on
Okay.
no June meeting?
All right. No questions on May either?
No,
No, okay, because May's on there too.
I'll make the joke. No.
Oh, okay.
No questions.
All right. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the IT service review. Anyone from, okay.
There we go. Good afternoon. Matt Scott with Dew Point. Joel, account executive, and Brent Olivier is our delivery executive for Dew Point. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for welcoming here to present our solution. This is for the IT management solution. I also like to thank Mike and Mr. Little for giving access to them to go through all the deep due diligence we've done to make sure we're accounting for everything in your guys' environment. And this proposal is to give you a high-level overview of what's in scope, and then provide you a little bit of process, and then give you the actual pricings that's associated with our solution for the next 5 years. So first of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about Dew Point. Dew Point, we're headquarters in Lansing, Michigan. We have offices in Grand Rapids. We were founded in 1996. We are a full-service IT company with an emphasis in managed services, what's alignment here today. One of the things that's unique about Dew Point is we've spent a lot of time in the last 20 years working with municipalities, local government, and state government. You can see a few of our associated current clients that we work with. One thing that we've determined working in the municipality space, there's a lot of similarities, BSNA, GIS, fire, public safety. We've gained a lot of experience through the years. The solution that we've developed is all around taking that experience and applying it specifically to Benton Harbor. So I'm going to walk on to the next step. This particular is designed to give you a high-level overview of the services and then to emphasize the security that we built around it. Security is so critical nowadays that we make sure we emphasize every element of security. So I'm going to start out by the support services side. So what we've solutioned is end-to-end from your service desk, supporting your network, supporting your hosting and server environment, going into storage and backup. The firewalls are supported in your overall environment. We provide 24/7 monitoring. This gets indicated and this is watched by our delivery organization. Any indication of any issues is triggered into our system and alerts, and then we start our diagnostic troubleshooting immediately from that point. We have service level objectives, and those are posted in the statement of work to give you guys an understanding of expectations of when you call, when you send an email, when we diagnose the situation, how long it's going to take for us to get involved, respond, and start troubleshooting that. So you have a good idea, and we do a lot around the organizational change management. So everyone in the organization is brought up to speed to really understand how to interact with Dew Point amongst either calling us, utilizing the portal, utilizing email to get in contact with us. And then so we blend in the expectations so that you understand immediately what you can expect. We also provide a end-user survey. It's not one we analyze ticket information, but the human factor of it, the end user and their experience is more critical to us. So surveys go out every time, or we can adjust it to any time Benton Harbor feels the right combination. So if a ticket is closed, a survey goes out to the end user, and they are able to judge us on how they thought that experience went. We monitor those monthly, and then we'll communicate on a monthly basis to the point of contact. And this guy, I think is Mike. We look at the good, but the bad are more important to us. If anything's happened that is a low rating, we really dig into it and find the root cause, understand how we can correct it. Because the whole point of it is to continuously improve the situation here. In our transition, we go through and get a good understanding of what he has, and we get a pretty good understanding right now. But we look for the nuances that are associated with Benton Harbor. Those are captured in a knowledge base. So when you do call in, we have that information for our service desk to know exactly kind of what's going on. All those nuances are captured for consistency. From a security perspective, we're covering the email security associated with Microsoft. This does things like spam filtering, quarantine, looking for bad actors, looking for situations that aren't normal. We have the supporting the dual multi-factor solution that's currently in the environment, taking it over. Our antivirus is loaded on all the units associated to the PCs and servers in the environment, make sure it's protected there. We have a rigid patching schedule and a PC schedule that goes through and make sure everything's patched for any vulnerabilities that are in the environment that come up. Threat management is a proactive organization that's under Brent to talk to, but it's looking for things that are going on in the environment. That information's coming into us, but then we cross-reference it with anything that would be in your environment that might have that same situation, so we can be proactive in patching that particular situation before it creates a problem. And then we end-to-end security monitoring, and this is proactive as it relates to vulnerability scanning. And then we do log correlation, which is really looking at all the traffic going on, looking for anomalies that look like it's a situation that might be bad, so we can act on it quickly. And then we're providing the know before training, which is the end user training that's in the environment. And we're simulating phishing attacks to make sure that when people potentially look at something, they click on it, it's an indication that additional training might be required. So it's a proactive thing to the end user community to make sure we're keeping it safe as well. So from a high level, we're covering pretty much end-to-end everything in the environment. When we did the due diligence, we were very due diligent on making sure we're accounting for everything that you guys currently have, so that we're providing a very accurate price of everything you have, so we can do an accurate comparison. So within the due diligence we've done, based on your current contract, you have it hardware as a service. So the hardware at the end of the agreement is not yours. It's removed out because it's owned by the current vendor. Our solution, we don't like to go about that way. So because of the replacement of the hardware is required, we're going to replace your whole environment of the hardware, which is the servers, the network, and I'll get up next slide gets into that. But at the end of this agreement, it's yours. It's yours to keep. You guys don't need to worry about doing kind of a replace again. The asset will stay with your ownership. You guys continue on. Even if DuPoint's not in the equation, it no longer matters, because you guys don't have to go through that additional work. Everything that we're talking about here is in the final pricing once I do it. So everything that I've accounted for is all inclusive. So the hardware specifically, when we went through you guys' whole environment, here's what we have to replace. The access points and the volumes. You have 4 access points that need to be replaced, 3 firewalls, 3 24-point switches, 7 48-point switches, and 1 Dell server that you're running in your BSA will be upgraded to a higher level. And then the UPSs that are currently here on the hardware as a service. So that in itself is replacing in basically a transformation of bringing in all new gear, up to speed, the newest, highest performance quality, and it's all been vetted through. We made sure that when we did the analysis against your current models, that they were like we're vetted for a performance perspective. So that kind of covers the services and the hardware, but more importantly to us, we want you to understand how our support model works. So the way that DuPont has its governance structure and how we support Benton Harbor specifically is you have Joel is here. Ron Curcio is the delivery executive. So you think Joe's the business, Ron Curcio is your delivery executive. Ron communicates directly with Brent Olivier here, who owns all our managed services for all our agreements in the state of Michigan. Dew Point is really focused. 99% of our business is right here in the state of Michigan, surrounding the Lansing. So from Grand Rapids to Ypsilanti to Brighton to the city of Lansing. So we have one spread. We focus on the state of Michigan because there's enough business here for us, and we really want to keep it personal, and we want to be accessible, and we want to be able to drive right to the location required without any issues. So that's kind of the overall model. Now, underneath Brent's lieutenants here, essentially, he has been supporting municipalities for 25 years. He's also a chief volunteer firefighter for Byron. Matt Rogers is our service desk manager. Matthew's been with Dew Point for 7 years. He's got 15 years experience as a service desk manager. And then Jamie Wolford is our SecOps, which is our security operations manager. He's got over 25 years experience. He's got CISP qualifications, very diverse with large organizations, and we've got lucky enough to pull him into Dew Point because he can spot things rapidly and start to prepare any type of security vulnerabilities that are in the environment very efficiently. So that would be your delivery operation team. You're going to see more of the Joes and Ron's, but the rest of the organization is there to support it. But Benton Harbor only needs to contact and communicate with these two individuals. It's a really simple. Now, one of the other things in our model that we find very important is that we don't like to nickel dime. So we've made our model to say, hey, during a normal course of business, people come, people go. There's things that happen. And we don't want to come in and say, oh, we're going to charge you more for one because you went over. So what we do is we build a range. So in the normal course of business, unless something large happens to the department, we find that if we make this range out enough, that the bill doesn't move. If it goes down, if it goes up, it stays within this range. The bill never changes. In the contract, you see there's like a 90-day period. If it stays above a certain level, high or low, over 9 days, Ron Curcio and Joe will have a conversation back in Harbor to say, well, we're going to drop the bill down, or we're going to look at here's what it looks like potentially to increase the bill. But those are only situations where the volumes have changed at a dramatic level. If it stays between here, it's very simple. It stays within that same pricing, because we find that really important to help with consistent pricing mechanisms so you guys can depend on what the budget needs are. Going into the pricing, so what's the comparison? Each pricing represents everything all up and in for our total solution. From a year to year, you see the annual cost and the monthly cost year over year on a 5-year agreement. That includes all the hardware we talked about, all the ongoing services, all the transition project work that's going to take to install the servers, network here, associated firewalls. So this is all inclusive, and we were able to get this very dialed in because of all the due diligence that Mike makes available for all our different questions and all the walkthroughs we've done here at Benton Harbor. So we feel very confident that we accounted for everything. That being said, that is our last slide. If any questions?
Mr. Chairman, if I might, before we go into questions, for the benefit of the committee, I want you to understand the reason they're here is that, as I said to you before, we're looking at everything that we spend money on out of the general fund, and we're looking for ways to improve service, but at the same time to reduce cost. And looking at what we were paying for what we had raised a concern, and I asked Mike to look at other options and see what we might be able to do. And what we're talking about doing here will save us a considerable amount on a monthly basis and certainly year end over year end, but the service we currently have was about to increase also. Okay. One of the differences with this, at the end of this 5-year term, you go forward, you at least own your equipment. Mm-hmm. In this instance, we had to sort of buy out the equipment and replace it because it belonged to the previous provider.
That equipment that looking at buying out, is it worth buying it now, or is it outdated, or?
Perhaps the term buyout wasn't the best to use. Essentially, they take the equipment back.
Okay.
It's theirs.
Okay.
And we have to then put in our own, and that's included in this proposal.
Yes. Yes, now, city manager, the savings, that's what we're looking for. You know, we need to save money. So how much we talking about saving? You know, we talking about the,
Well, as an example, for the first year, the year we're finishing up now, our cost was running about $17,700 a month. And it was about to go to 19, I believe, is what it was going to. The proposal we're looking at here is around 16 or slightly under 14.
okay.
Yeah.
So this will cover police, city hall, city income, the city as a whole.
Essentially everything we have right now, yes.
Better service. Service, okay.
Is there any interactive mechanisms in it where, you know, the general public can, like, contact City Hall or communicate with City Hall?
Go ahead.
No, this would be for the internal network.
Okay.
This is strictly managed services, all the internal networks, backups, and the IT stuff that is needed to keep City Hall running.
Okay. All the privacy stuff and stuff like
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else with any questions? Ms. Fields?
I have to push. No,
No.
you're not Superman. Clark. You look like Clark. Okay. So I did have a couple questions though. So what would cause the prices to change? What's considered drastic? Increase in what exactly? And are we able to have access to this PowerPoint?
Yes, I can absolutely provide
Awesome.
for it, yeah. So the things that normally cause things to change is probably more so it's not really attached as much to the municipality world on the commercial side. But these would be things like if you were to move and purchase a different building and you had to relocate, servers and recreate new networking, that would be a drastic change. Or for some reason, maybe let's say you added 15 new firefighters or 15 different police officers, and the number went over the band, that'd be a scenario that's something that changed. But the way we set it up, it's not automatically change. It's a conversations with the account manager, delivery manager, say, hey, you've been over this number for X amount of time, so we have to have a discussion about it. But one and the same, if you were to go down for some reason, it's the same conversation. We're going to reduce the bill because it's based on the volumes, but that's basically, it'd have to be something drastic in order to change.
And then after which year will we own the equipment?
After the end of the agreement, so after the 60 months, the equipment should.
And then city manager, you said the difference was 1770 versus, for the first year to be 14.9?
Actually, the 17.7 is what it is currently.
Currently.
It's just, we just received notice that it was going up to 19. So you're looking at about a $5,000 a month difference.
Anything else? Mr. Gunther? Go ahead.
So with the rate of change is going up, if we purchase the equipment on the front end, why don't we see it going down?
Oh, no,
The up is with the people that we have now.
It's
I'm
spread
talking about
over
this.
the period.
it's spread over the 60 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The increase is really around association of the inflation of different elements of how we go about doing a 60-month deal, but, yeah.
Any other? Anybody from handled IT, got anything to add?
I think.
Okay, hold on. Got anything? Okay. All right. Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. I came in late, so I missed the first portion of the presentation, but my question is this a server system that is like the one that's housing everything in Kalamazoo? That we
Yes.
gave approval of?
I think we should, more appropriately, we would say it's like what we currently have. It replaces the equipment and so forth and the whole system that we're currently using.
Throughout City Hall itself?
City Hall and the police and fire, yes.
I guess my second question would be, where's the money going to come from?
Same place that we're paying the 17.7 right now. General fund.
7?
That's what the current bill is for the last month of this fiscal year.
Okay.
And-
Because I'm hearing some questions that arose then that I'm hearing answers to now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was about to go to 19,000, our current billing.
And
Question.
we become the owners.
At the end of the 60-month period, we own the equipment.
So when that time is up, who's responsible for the maintenance? And is there an insurance that Eric would?
It would be covered, since it's ours, it would be covered by our insurance. I'll let them answer on the warranty.
Commissioner Henderson, did
No,
you?
is that a question? Yeah, the current hardware is under warranty for the full term of the agreement, for the 60 months. So it's baked into the association, right here,
So if things break down when that warranty is up, we're responsible for the payment?
after the 5 years, yeah.
After the 5 years,
And you can purchase,
That could possibly put us right back to where we're paying now?
Well, actually, no, because since the price you're paying right now includes payment for the equipment we're using that belongs to our provider.
Okay.
In this instance, you'll be paying for equipment that you will own. And at the end of the period, you would still have the responsibility to find somebody to do the backup and service functions, but you would own the equipment. So you wouldn't have to be paying a monthly price that includes equipment. You would be,
Okay, so I just heard you say, and what I understand is the server system that's in Detroit, that's in Kalamazoo, this system covers that.
correct.
And it
That
would be
server is the
housed-
one that's the current under
It would be
provider.
housed
Yeah.
here.
It would be housed here.
yeah.
See, now something about
Okay,
Okay, we're revisiting it, but as long as I guess it's a savings, or is it?
It is.
big savings. Did you got
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I remember, thank you, City Manager, because I know we charged you with bringing our costs down with a lot of the services and stuff, especially the services that we have into the city. Some of them are very high. And so I know this is a necessity, and I know this will be a savings. Of course, with inflation over the years, we may see an occurrence, but we're already paying, that's what people need to understand, we're already paying a significant amount to have these servers and to provide this technical equipment that we have. We're already paying a significant amount, if you heard what he talked about. So this is a significant, to me especially, a savings, because we aren't paying so much on services and service fees. So thank you for doing that, and hopefully this will improve what we have, and the fact that we own it is powerful. So thank you.
Thank you.
I just got one more question.
Commissioner Isom.
So if we do have any problems, you got a help desk that'll be right on it?
Yep.
Good. And just to Deputy Clark, would you recommend this DuPont for us?
Yes,
Yes.
very much so.
Thank you.
Okay, we thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there something in regards to this, like a 911?
Nothing to do with 911. All right, next item on the agenda,
Thank you, gentlemen.
Department of Public Safety. Resolution adopting the ordinance prohibiting the nuisance parties. Director McGinnis.
Is it? Oh, it's on automatically? Oh, good. I don't have to press the button? Thank goodness. All right, so. Good evening, commissioners, committee, citizens. It's good to see everybody out. Glad that you came today for our public safety meeting. This next topic clearly has been a hot topic. I want to talk about it and clear up some misconceptions and talk about some stats. So one of the things I do want to say, because some people left Monday, very much appreciated the people who came in and spoke and gave their opinion, because that's how you start dialogue. So again, to those citizens, you left by the time I had spoke. Thank you for coming. At the end, we still may agree to disagree, but again, this is exactly what citizens and government is supposed to be. So the first thing I want to dispel, I think what has happened is we've kind of conflated two different issues is the first thing. And I want to say also, I think maybe we didn't communicate it accurately. So I think that I accept that responsibility as the director, and I ask for you guys to forgive us for not having adequate communication. All right, we try to be transparent. I think that's part of the problem. So when I say we're kind of conflating or blending two separate issues, the first thing that I want to be clear on, this is not an all-out blanket for any party, gathering, reunion, go see grandma, none of that. It's not for that whatsoever. So we don't want you to get the misconception that if you have a party or you have a family get-together reunion, that you're going to be in trouble. That's not it. We clearly know we're in graduation season. There's going to be parties everywhere, right? And what was also kind of not said is citizens do a great job of contacting the city, telling us their intention to have parties, get-togethers. We have a form they fill out. Sometimes they want to use a lot next to their home. It might be a city lot, so they ask for permission. Usually I almost always try to find a reason to say yes. Sometimes we have to kind of bend and come to an agreement, but generally we have those. So I want to make sure that we know that this is not for families, residents, those type of things. All right. So that's the first thing when I say it's kind of conflated. Here is the truth of the matter, and I'm gonna be very frank, as you know that I am. The issue that we have, and this is what part of the thing that I don't think was communicated adequately, was that we have some stores that have kind of added to our problem. And again, I don't want to bore you with a bunch of stats or make it look like it's propaganda, but the issue that we have had has been consistently, AJ's, A&D's, I'll tell you right now, they have been chronically under investigation by the Michigan Liquor Control Commission. The Liquor Control Commission reached out to us and asked us, could we help them in their investigation with them? They have been a chronic violator of not just city ordinance, but also state law. Again, we can give you numbers about incidents that have happened between A&D's and AJ's. And then I think all you that's been around, again, I'm going to be very, very open with you. You know that when it gets hot for the stores, and I'm talking about all of them, Sunny Spot, for those who live over there in the 3rd Ward, you know that there's times where you get jammed up, you can't get home or get out. Late at night goes all night. Wings and Things, we've had shootings there. And all these places, again, statistically, we have had shootings at. And there is an ordinance that's specifically for what's called nightclubs and also for stores that have certain requirements for them to have security in their lots. When Mr. Whaley came here Monday, he didn't talk to Clark, he talked to Kaz, actually. He was mixed up there. He actually was in compliance in his party. Inside was okay. It was outside. Well, outside really is a responsibility of the owners of A&Ds. So again, I'm gonna be very transparent with you. One of the accusations that the LCC is now again, and has in the previous, had revealed to us that those are technically two different places, AJ's and A&D's, right? They're both supposed to have their own liquor licenses. But what they're doing is taking their license back and forth across the street, which is a violation of the law. Now, you guys may remember back in 2022 when we had the Memorial Day incident. I was on TV and I kind of went off and I came out and said, I'm sorry, that's not emotional ride high. But that was, from that instance, we can have an issue with LCC following up because we made contact with the investigator. He sat down with us, watched video. In that video, you can see them, I don't know if this is, you can see them serving alcohol inside, mixing drinks inside. You can see the whole thing. Ultimately outside, it was so chaotic. There were so many cars that we literally could not get to the location of where the young man was down. We met with them, nothing happened. So now again, they come back around and they ask us to, hey, can the city pull their license? And if we do that, then we will take action. Don't know why the process is, not questioning it, it is what it is. AJ, we know a couple years ago, so to be clear, nuisance parties, remember back in 2020, they were called X-Trains, remember that? When they were traveling around, stations kind of taking over. They literally had a tour almost every weekend for sure, sometimes even during the week. They'd go from Sunny Spot, which of course you know we had homicide in here. They go from Sunny Spot to the Main Street Market, 202, 310, literally in a circle. That was an issue. In 2022, we did a pretty good job of kind of getting that down. Then it was kind of pop up in different spots, you know, park here, block there. It was not necessarily people that were having block parties all the time. We do have some instances that happened at homes where there were parties, but it pales in comparison to those stores. And again, all you guys probably live in proximity to one of those locations. And if you're going to tell me you don't have not had a problem with Wings and Things, or Main Street Market, or A&D's, Sunny Spots, I'm going to tell you not to do it. Because we know we've had issues with. All right, so one of the things, quite honestly, when we put this forward, I was saying, let's ask them, the commission, to shut all stores down to a o'clock. Why do we keep having these provisions? They'll come when it gets hot, and I guarantee tomorrow I'm gonna get a call like, hey, can we come meet with you? When it gets hot on them, they want to meet and cooperate. Now, remember, there's been times through the years where we met with all these store owners, and they would agree to shut down their lights at a certain time and keep them off until 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, where there's no lights, it doesn't attract people. That was successful. The year that, for you guys that live around the Main Street Market area, that helped. It helped at 202 because no lights, there's not really a place to gather. So they wait for something to happen, and then it gets hot, citizens start complaining, then they want to come and want to cooperate and help. We need that all the time. So that was the reason for putting forth the ordinance. The other thing is situations where if we come and say, hey, we got loud music, we got some complaints, that's why we're there. Not because we just want to go and mess your party up. We usually probably have a complaint, all right? So if we say, hey, turn the music down, or hey, if it's late, could you break it up? Actually, 80% of the time, people do, because they respect their neighbors. There are some, for whatever reason, that refuse to, and of course, we got to start throwing cars and whatnot. We don't necessarily want to do that. But the issue is not necessarily the residents. I think we all know that and would agree. I hope we would agree, because that's the truth. We need to take action, I think, for the send a message that you just can't come to Ben Harbor and do what you want to do.
what was supposed to happen, again, we accept responsibility for not having an adequate explanation. This ordinance was supposed to follow a request to non-renew, because last week was the first month of our new fiscal year. We are asking the commission to consider to not renew A&Ds, AJs, 310, 303. Even had issues with Hawks Nest. Not renew those licenses so that, one, they can operate, and two, the state of Michigan alleges they'll come in, and if we take action, they will take action. Right? So that is, I just want to kind of give you the facts. We can go look at some video. Again, I give you those numbers. We can give them to you. You know, it's transparent, and we have a monthly report that's published for everyone to see. But those are really the two main issues and the very much misunderstood intention of what we're trying to do. So with that, I will say I'm sorry for that miscommunication, and we want to do the right thing for our people. Now, maybe you might have 100 people that cause problems. We got 9,000 other people that are great residents, that love Benton Harbor and love our community, and all they want to do is have peace, quiet, and safety in their homes. That's really what it is, and that's what our job is to do. Now, what we want to hear is what is important to you. So, you know, a few years ago, we used to have a survey of, hey, we would ask citizens, what's important? It'd be dumping, it'd be loud music, it'd be this, it'd be that. So that's how we start and put our enforcement strategy together for the summer. We don't just kind of go out and do it. We get input from commissioners, from citizens, from church leaders, because again, we work for you. Let me be clear on that. We work for you. All right, so the last thing I want to address, because somebody is going to say, I guarantee it, we got past and present commissioners, they're going to say, well, the young folks don't have nothing to do. They got Boys and Girls Club, we got church, you have Netflix, binge list. But let me say this. You look at these videos, it's not young folks. These people in their 20s. It's not the young folks.
That's young. 20 is young.
Well, at some point, there's a very famous book that says, when I was a child, I thought I was a child. I played with child things. When I became a man, I played child things. We have to be able to respect everyone else and not make excuses for the few. That's probably my only thing that I'll say that I think you might have an issue with. But at the end of the day, we're only going to do what we're instructed to do by the commission, the managers, and at you guys' request. So, again, we can show some more video, or we can open up for comments and questions. But again, thank you for listening.
Mr. Director, so I guess explaining just what is a mobile nuisance party ordinance, just can you kind of give more clarity on that?
So basically, it's these. There we go. We're back. These mobile pop-ups. Again, they used to be called X-Train back in 2020 to 2022, where they would just kind of go rotate from spot to spot to about 4 or 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. They just go. They just go rotate. They also go out to Gene Clock. We get complaints out there. We can't be everywhere at once, mm-hmm. and that's part of the problem. And here's something. I was hesitant if I wanted to mention this, but I'm gonna throw it out there. I haven't done the research yet. Because we're out chasing these different groups around, we're now seeing another elevation in our stolen cars and our burglarized cars. Because I think people know that we're doing this with them. So there are things that kind of spider web out. If we're over here chasing, if we're going from Sunny Spot to 202 to 310 to Sunny Spot, there's parts of the city that aren't being protected. That's something else I want to just kind of throw out to consider, that if we're going around just the merry-go-round with them, then we are also not able to make sure. I got somebody stop me today at the market. It gave me a great tip on the dumper. It says to do it between 12 and 2 o'clock at night. It's a white truck, da-da-da. That's the type of stuff that we're trying to catch, because that's important to you two also. So, I'm sorry, sir, did that answer your question?
Yeah, pretty much. So basically, if somebody's having a graduation party or whatever in their backyard, or That's not what this ordinance is.
No,
is
not at
for,
all.
You know,
Not at all.
unless they jumping in the car and moving from house to house or neighborhood to neighborhood. So mobile is those ones that gather. When you come and they feel the heat on them, they take off and they go to the next place. You're chasing them.
Right.
It's mobile.
Right. And here's another fact you may not know. A lot of the people that are, I would say probably at least a quarter, are people that's from like Indiana.
Yeah.
I don't know why. With South Bend and Indianapolis, they come up here on the weekends to do that. I don't know if you guys were aware of that. Like, why are you coming to Ben Harbor with that mess? Stay in Indiana. So that has been a fact. I don't know if it's been, I know from 2002 to about 2003, that was a fact that we knew for sure. Again, I'm not sure the stats now, but you'll see flyers on Facebook about, hey, head to Ben Harbor, be at so-and-so. Little hint, if you see a flyer, here's the other thing. I'm not on Facebook much, but I do know, if you notice, when they have the parties, those that are unplanned, they won't publish the location until the day of. That right there should tell you something wrong. The other thing is, if you see a flyer that says from whatever time until, that's a problem. So, because the people that have their graduation parties, they don't go late. Barbecues, they don't really go late. And even if they do, they know they kind of dumb it down, if you will, to themselves. They can enjoy themselves. So, those are some indicators to kind of look at when these things are happening. And again, this is for the ones that go around drag racing. Anybody live around Main Street? I'm quite sure there's been at least one person here that's called on a drag racing on Main Street. And then they filming it, putting it on Facebook. Now, it's the last thing I'll say, I promise. How disrespectful is it to the rest of the Ben Harbor residents when you are doing lawless acts and putting it on Facebook and it's ha ha ha? You should have a problem with that, I think. That's just my opinion. So,
Okay.
that answer the question, sir?
Yeah.
That time I did. The first time I didn't.
Well, I got it. Okay, quick.
If people are just gathering at, like a
Yeah.
gas station, and there's no
Okay.
no violence.
Hold on just a second. Could you hold on hold your thought just a second, please? And we'll get to you. Okay. Go ahead.
So my question would be, how does this ordinance differ from one that already might exist? Or does one exist for parties?
So that's a good question. And I've had a conversation with Commissioner, one of the commissioners earlier, and there are some overlaps. So, for example, I want to just kind of read some excerpts from the nightclub ordinance that pertains to Smokies, which is really not open, A&Ds. So, 1, hours of operation. It says no nightclub should operate past 2 a.m. So here's what they're doing. So with everybody outside, when we get there and talk to the store owners, they're saying, oh, they're outside. That's your responsibility. But the ordinance says, Chapter 8, there's part of overcrowding, and this is a city ordinance. It should be on the website. But they are required by ordinance to also police, I use the term police, their parking lots, and they are supposed to contract security for every 75 people. Now, again, going back to Robert Whaley, and we go back many years, but again, he was right. He had some security. Now, there's issues as far as it being registered with us, but they were legitimate security, and he had his own. So why was he having to pay for security when it's their responsibility by ordinance that they never have? How many times have you been to any of these stores I mentioned when it's dark and seen security? Not one time. Even when you drove by it, not one time. So that's an issue. So to your question, committee member, there is some overlap, but they also work in conjunction because this speaks to hours of operation, speaks to security, speaks to responsibility outside the building. If it's on their property, they're responsible for it. Mm-hmm. And I think there should be contracts in place. I don't know if there are. I doubt it, where those things are spelled out. Because here's the thing. Robert could have said, they're not conforming with my contract. And then ultimately at that party, although he was in compliance, guess what happened? There was a non-fatal shooting there in that parking lot. Because they go back and forth because they know the liquor going back and forth and the people go back and forth and they park over there because technically they know they're not supposed to park at A&D's store to go to AJ's, but they do. And then of course the way Pipestone, Empire, and Union is shaped, it just becomes a huge backup.
Okay.
So, and I have not read this as thoroughly as I should have, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. So in section 3, it talks about so a person in attendance at a nuisance party. Is there a section that talks about the owner of a property? Is that, what section is that?
It's more towards the back, I believe. I don't have it right in front of me, but I know that it's in there.
All right, so in section 3, it just talks about people who might be in attendance at a nuisance party. And I'm wondering, is there a difference in the punishment of violation of this ordinance for the owner and for the participant?
No, it's the same across the board. It's just a misdemeanor city ordinance with the fines.
So, so just follow-up question. So for a person who attended a party, they would have the same punishment as a person who threw a party?
Let me jump in on that because that makes it seem like we're gonna just come through and everybody.
Right.
Generally,
Yeah, that's the way.
That's
that's the
That's just how I'm
question.
reading it, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that, and that, again, clarity. So, we need to go back to the drawing board to clarify language. I don't have a problem with that. That'd be the city manager's call. But there need to be some clarity of language. I think ultimately, again, 80% we pull up. Hey, we got complaints. They can hear you over here on Pearl. Lower music, shut it down. Oh, yes, officer. We're sorry. Thank you. We're ready to go to bed anyway. All right. There are some times where we get the belligerents and they're not cooperating. Honestly, I would rather hold that person responsible that's throwing that now becomes belligerent versus we just go, you happen to be there and because you're there, here's your ticket too. Would you be there had you not been invited? We got to be smart. Let's not, we're trying to ultimately get peace and tranquility, but we don't want to also cut off our noses by our face by trying to ticket everybody. I don't think that's the way to go either.
No, and the intent of it is, if you're asked to leave and you leave, that solves the problem. But if you're asked to leave and you tell the officers a litany of things and basically tell everybody to pound sand, you're there to party, that changes the dynamic. That changes what we're there for, right? Because the object here is, it's public peace. This, it's yelling, it's loud music, it's everything else, and the objective is to just stop that. We used to have Miss Mary work for the police department for a number of years.
30.
She lived right there next to AJ's, and when that place opened, she was a consistent complainer because she lived right there. And that's the objective. If you're having the party, and we say, there's a shooting in your parking lot, it's time to close up. It's time to close up, okay? Security, for instance. If you hire a security company, and it's not on the person hiring, it's on the security company. The state law says you must be registered with the state, the place that they hired was, but you also must be registered with the county sheriff of the county you intend to work in and the city. There's city ordinances and that. That does not fall on the person booking the security. That falls on the security company. So they are being investigated for their issues. Okay? So again, we're not going after Robert for hiring whatever their name was. I don't remember off the top of my head. We're not going after him for hiring them. We're just saying, hey, listen, that company that you hired is non-compliant with the state law. Okay? They were using a mace on the crowd that's not suitable for human use. And there are laws and rules against that. So we're investigating that. Robert's not going to get held responsible for that because he didn't know. He booked a security company like he was supposed to, right? And he did that's what any one of us would do. That's not his issue. But the ultimate issue is that's just one of the litany of things that happened that night. But that's not his issue, if that makes sense. So again, this is, hey, please leave. This party's gone too long, or it's time to go. And just turn the stereo up. You're sitting in your car, turn the music up, or you just blatantly ignore, or you're walking around with your solo cup and you walked over to friends. If we show it, A&D's, one of the clerks was actually coming out with the cups of ice that they offer with the liquor as the officer's walking in, and he stopped and he froze.
Let's show that. And there's one thing I do want to add also that actually I don't want it to be ignored is that we all know we have quite a few slumlords that have property in Benton Harbor. I'll give you one scenario. I won't name the person or the street, but there's a street on the south side where there's a neighbor that's literally pulling their hair out because right next door to her, they're constantly playing music. It's a constant issue. I believe they have scanners because we come and we get there. We don't hear anything. We've hid out in alleys. We've tried to get it in the act because that's how we have to get it, and it's been nothing. We've talked to the property owner, and he tries to make it like the person who's complaining is anti-whatever. So this has been going on for months and months and months and months. So could we theoretically, again, I'll throw this out for discussion, could we theoretically hold that slumlord accountable because we have talked to him, the woman, the complainant has talked to him, he poo-pooed her, and has taken no action. Now, could that fit in here? Possibly. Is that something we might want to think about? Because, again, if you're next door to somebody, you calling, and you're trying to catch you on your camera, you're sick of the noise, you go to work at, I think she goes to work at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, is that fair? That could be a nuisance under this ordinance because ultimately I think it says the person that has standing can be held responsible. So again, I throw it out there in the atmosphere for thought and discussion, but we're trying to get some type of way for the rest of the good folks, all the good folks in Ann Arbor to have peace and quiet and tranquility.
If the board don't have any more questions, I'd like
do.
to. Okay, go ahead.
I
Ms.
do.
Okay.
I do. So I'm not clear on how this ordinance will hold the store owners accountable. Who's going to get the misdemeanor? The owner? How does that work?
It's going to be the registered business owner.
Okay.
You're allowing these things to propagate on your property. And you're not doing anything to stop it, according to the ordinances that we have. One of the things, and not to cut the chief off, is we have a lot of ordinances. Yeah. And what we're trying to do is kind of streamline these ordinances. There's ordinances for jostling. If you're walking through a crowd bumping people, you could be cited under city ordinance for a misdemeanor for that. Obviously that, it's just, there's so many, okay? So instead of trying to literally throw the book at people, this is just to conglomerate the the public order issues that we're having, right? So if we come and your party's told, hey, it's too loud, neighbors have complained, they turned it down, that's great, we're moving on. That's not a nuisance party. You've complied, and it's the end of the day. But if we come back 2, 3, 4 times, or now the party's gone from your house to 310 to across the street to 202 to, then that's when it becomes a nuisance. And we're not the only city dealing with that. Kalamazoo's dealing with it, South Bend's dealing with it, Indianapolis is dealing with it, Chicago's dealing with it. I mean, all these communities are dealing with it. We're all trying to find different ways to keep that public order issue down.
And do we have our age, or will we have any input in regards to the charges? So if someone's in the car that's 17, they'll have a misdemeanor? Or at the event, would it be like a 16? Would it waive them from 14 up? So will these young youth have a...
That's a curfew violation. That's a completely separate violation. That would be a violation for the curfew violator, and then for the parents for not making sure their children. You see what I'm saying? This is where
Okay.
our ordinances start to branch out, and we literally have a giant tree of all these things. And we're just trying to pull it together. But like something like that, 14, 15, 16-year-old at a party at 3:30 in the morning, that's a curfew violation. And so that becomes a completely different offense as opposed to this.
Okay. And so, the Vineyard reunion party that was had at AJ's, I attended. Yeah, I was campaigning for commissioner at large. I went, and I want to say that, I don't know what time I went, how long I stayed, that's neither here or there. The police came down the road, and that was the most peaceful party ever. Besides, like, them valet parking in random spots, that was the only issue. Was no music being played in groups or, any extraness that could have been a nuisance. The police came with the siren noise, with spotlights on everybody. I didn't know we even had those many because I thought we only had 2.5. Oh, we've had more, but came ready. Then they went to towing cars. As soon as the store, A&D's and the whatever that hood store across the street, I believe are owned by the same people. It was coordinated. When I tell you that every towing company that we have around here was in rotation. Jeff left, Hassie's came, Jeff came back, another, like, to tow all of these cars, and these individuals had to obviously be inside at the party because they could have jumped in their cars and left. And so that was extra, in my opinion, right, for a party that was not a nuisance. And it was prepared for to have the police come because it was at least like 3 or 4 cars or so. I ended up leaving just because, but I reference that because that's about relationship with the community, right? So, like, the things you're talking about, enforcing and things of that nature, is based on police relationship, and how are they speaking. I have people coming to me about the relationship, about the issue. We see videos and see how, sometimes police staff talks to residents. And so I know Chief works on that, but that's risky and scary when it's per discretion about nuisance parties or mobile parties or whatever be the case. That's why if we want something in place that is not for residents and is for store owners, I think it should be clearly stated that. Because I agree. I feel like we need to be not shopping at a lot of them. I mean, our deaths happen at these stores, all of these different things, but we shouldn't be grouped into trying to hold them accountable. I don't think that's fair. So it needs to read better for me.
But can I ask you, was that before or after the shootings? Because there was more than one shots fired. So which part are you talking about?
Oh, it wasn't no shooting at my party. The Vineyard, when was the Vineyard
No,
party?
I thought you meant the one on A&D's.
She did.
It was.
Like 2 weeks ago.
It was like 2 weeks ago. You know about the Vineyard reunion party because police beating.
I was off for 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
That was the night of the graduation party shooting.
Okay.
Well, we weren't at that one.
Okay. All right. So we're talking. I thought you meant A&D's. Okay, got you. All right.
It was at AJ's. The party was at AJ's, and then people were parked and kind of just out. Everybody was like, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you in this long." I saw a lot of people. I'm bad with names, so I saw people. Even I knew. Diane Young was like, "I was gonna come." I'm like, "No, you weren't." But it was really just like a gathering. And when the part that really pressed me was that it was coordinated to tow these cars. So these people couldn't even get their cars back until like Monday. And I didn't know we had those many towing companies. And when I tell you, I recorded it. One left, another came. One left, another came. One left, another came. And that's just extra for.
But we don't randomly just pull up like that. There's a reason for it. I'd have to look into it. So we're putting it out. So I need to make sure we got both sides. I wasn't actually in town at the time, but I would be curious to go and look at that.
Okay, to allow the public to get their time in, what we need you to do is just come up to the. Do what? Okay, yeah. If you sign the sheet, yeah, let it. Well, it's your time, so. Yeah. Okay. Anybody want to say something, please sign the sheet so we can get you in. Right. This part is public comment anyway, ain't gonna cut it, ain't gonna do no public.
That's it after this, right? Yeah. Don't need no public work.
No. Anybody need to sign the sheet just to speak, okay?
We'll go through it again and we'll make sure. Okay. We'll take it. We'll check it out.
All right. Clerk will call your name.
Shaniqua Davis.
Coretta Scott. Hello,
Hello, Shaniqua.
everyone. My name is Shaniqua Davis. AKA. I'm a young spokesperson for my community. I don't agree with the Newsom party. McGinnis, I have a question for you. You said that your definition of a Newsom party is hopping from store to store. Is that what you said? I'm just asking.
That was an example.
So the party at the Hawks Nest, that was a Newsom party, because that one was on the news, and that was a Newsom. Was that a Newsom party?
Was it?
Huh?
That's a good question. Was it? Was it?
I'm asking you. It was on the news, defined as a Newsom party. So I was just.
Oh, I don't watch it, so.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, the Hawks Nest. Have anyone besides Deidre been to any Newsom party gatherings without the badge, without the uniforms, just being your own person in the community?
3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, no.
No, I'm not talking about, that's not when they start. They usually start about 9. That's what time I go. I'm gonna tell you.
5, 6 o'clock in the morning, right?
Okay, have you ever been?
No.
At the beginning, I'm not talking about at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking about when it starts, not when it ends or when trouble comes.
Well, we only talk about when trouble comes. We're.
But that's just the question.
But we're creating hypotheticals. No, I haven't been.
Okay,
at
no,
range, 'cause I got
no,
things
you
to
haven't
do.
been.
'Cause I work.
No, okay, you haven't been.
Yep, I work.
So I have been. I have been to majority of them. And what I get out the Newsom parties, I get a warm welcoming, I get good food, I see my people, I enjoy my people, I have a good time. And these were people in my age range, and I'm talking 25 and older.
How many times have there been shots being fired at the parties you've been at?
None. Not no parties I've been at. None.
So you've been lucky.
None. No, I'm not lucky. I'm just protected by my community.
So we.
That's what I am. I'm not, though. Y'all aiming at the wrong crowds. That's why,
Crowds are shooting.
no, we're gonna, yeah, the crowds that shooting. It's the younger crowds. Not the crowds that be at AJ's or any other places that you name. The shooters at, we're gonna use graduation, for example. Y'all was so focused on AJ's, towing cars, blowing horns, but was not focused on the shooting at the graduation party where a little boy got shot up, what, about 4 or 5 times? Yeah, little DJ. Hey, that's over? Can't be.
Yeah, can you finish, just go ahead and finish up your thought. Your time
okay.
is up, though. Finish
Yeah,
up.
so that was an example. That little boy could have died out there because y'all focus was mainly on people drinking outside rather than a little boy getting killed.
That's not I don't think I kid. Is that the one where we had 5 people hit?
Yeah.
So we had 5 people shot.
Not at AJ's.
Well, let's make a mind up. You talking about the party? You said that first, not AJ's. 5 people were shot at a gathering. That's okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay for nobody to get shot. But it's not okay for y'all to point the blame at those crowds in particular. But what is it for these young kids to do when they have 15 dispensaries downtown?
Okay,
It's,
you-
can I, it's over?
yeah, we gotta let other people talk.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Thank you for your comments. Next person.
Dylan Gaines.
You nervous? You scared?
Okay.
You don't have to push the button.
I'm wondering what like y'all gonna have for kids. I'm wondering what like y'all gonna have for kids, like what activities and like stuff to do for kids. Neither than the Boys and Girls Club and like that other stuff that we already got.
Okay. Anybody wanna, you take a shot at it?
No, it's for the city
Okay, well.
commissioners.
Okay, he's on
Not
the
you,
board.
James.
You wanna talk about your organization and what you do, man?
No, I want the city to answer. We want the city to answer.
Okay.
Because what, the
Well-
reason why I say that too is because my entity isn't the city's or what the city has going on for kids or taking part, even for the Boys and Girls for that matter. That isn't anything
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that the city is taking on necessarily to offshoot
Mm-hmm.
things that are going on. So when kids or different people of the community ask me like, hey, well, what else does the city have going on? Or is it something that the city is trying to offer? I know that there's a Boys and Girls Club. I have different activities. James Gunter has different activities. But we are independent. I just really wanted them to encouraging the kids to ask, or for us city to think about things. We know that the mayor, in Baltimore, had like 29 activities or groups that they supported. They extended, hours of different things. What can the city do for kids?
Well, I think, and I can't answer for staff or the other commissions, but I do see a corporation, with a lot of the nonprofits that are doing some things. The city just don't have the money to do everything, but the city can partner with or help support those non-profit organizations that are doing things. So I think it need to probably be a better collaboration with the nonprofits, in the city to enhance those things that's already going on. Yeah, I see a whole lot of things that's, everybody got their own little pocket, you got garden here and a garden over there and this activity going over here. So it is a lot of things. Do we need some more? Probably do. But I do see some level of cooperation between city government and those nonprofit organizations. Even some come to who need a letter of recommendation or something to get grants or something to do those programs. And I've seen a lot of cooperation going on with that. So that's yeah.
Comments.
Okay, next.
DeAndre Gaines.
Okay, can we got people talking? Can go ahead, young man.
My name is DeAndre Gaines, and I have 2 questions for you guys. My first question is, why don't the city
Okay,
open
we
up a
can't-
rec center?
Hold on a quick second, man. We can't hear the young man. Some out of sight talk going. Okay, go ahead again. Man.
closer.
Sorry.
My first question is, why don't the city open up a rec center for Ben Harbor and kids to swim?
Anybody? Okay. Well, go ahead, Commissioner Hughes. Okay.
So the city donated over $1.5 million to Benton Harbor area schools to repair the Olympic-sized swimming pool that we have at the Charles Grace Center. And so that was our partnership with in the community to open up the Charles Grace Center. But I didn't see anybody at the school board meeting. I asked about it last night. I told them to put that on their agenda to make it an ongoing update to let us know what's happening with the pool. And they said that they was going to do that, and they would talk about adding that to the budget. So the city, our main job is to collect taxes and provide security. And so outside of that, those are extra things that happen, and we don't have the money to do that. But we will support any business or organization who wanted, instead of throwing a party, put your money together, let's do outdoor skating. Let's do some outdoor activities. You don't have to throw a party. You can do something else that's recreational. I did outdoor skating outside last summer in the parking lot over here. It was a great event. I know somebody who has to skate. So we have resources in our community and people who want to do these kinds of things, but the city, all of that can't fall on the city. High school has a pool.
Can I answer?
No, you got to come up. Okay.
What's your second question?
What's your second question, young man?
My second question is, why don't the police do more with the kids of Ben Harbor?
Okay. I can't answer for the chief, but go ahead, Tim.
Well, I can speak for myself. I coach football at the high school, and hopefully be up there sometime.
That's not for all little kids.
But I got to start somewhere. So for me, that's what we do. Additionally, we go to parks. We bring our truck. So there are some things, but we also have young folks that have their own family. So that's a good question, and we're open to any suggestions. We do go by parties, birthday parties, and whatnot. So we do have a scope of what we do.
It's public time. Okay. That's your last question, young man? Thank you. Next person.
You gotta get people to, because we can't hear.
Okay. Got next one.
Yeah. Kevin Fields.
Kevin Fields.
So I wanted to ask, why couldn't y'all turn on the water for the plants and the gardens, the community garden?
Okay. Mr. Manager, you want to answer that?
Certainly. The city of Benton Harbor is in a position with its water plant where it's basically financially insolvent, and it's not generating the amount of revenue necessary to operate that facility. We have been required by the state to restrict what's going on in terms of things that aren't where water is being used and not being paid for. So water can be provided, it just requires somebody to come down, open an account, and get a meter.
My other question is, I saw other gardens with water on, but the garden the community garden that we have, it doesn't have water. Okay, my third question is, what is being done to make children feel safe?
Okay.
I didn't hear the last part.
He said, what is being done to make children feel safe? Can public safety, anybody from public safety answer?
It literally says on my paper.
One of the main things is try to get the shootings down and get people off the street that's responsible. So, no, it should be good. I said the main thing is trying to get the gun violence down. That's really what we're kind of focused on for the safety of kids and everyone else.
Any other questions, young man? Okay. Next person. Oh.
My question is, what is being done to get more young black people in town? Young black folks.
We're attempting to get new housing built here in the community that will enable more families to move in And as that occurs, it starts to build a tax base with new homes where the city will then have more money to try to do a lot of the things that we need to do with. And certainly would also bring in youth and that type of thing. One of the things that is at the base of a lot of the issues that people have is a lack of money. The city is in a position, and for a variety of reasons has been there for a while now, where it just doesn't have money to do a lot of the things that this city used to do many years ago and that other cities do all the time.
To add to that too, Mr. Manager, you know, it's always been my philosophy that what Benton Harbor need was, you know, less missionaries and more settlers. You have a lot of people that, you know, I don't even think we got a doctor that live in the city of Benton Harbor. I don't think, you know, no, Dr. Time don't live in the city.
The city manager don't live in the city either, so.
And you're absolutely correct.
The city manager don't either.
Yeah, yeah. So
If we're
that's
doing that, that's
yeah.
not fair. That's not fair.
Yeah.
It isn't about fair.
It's not
about what
appropriate conversation
But
right
no,
now.
it's about.
Commission,
You don't live in the
the
city.
commission
That's not-
Point of
approved.
order. It's really about the truth. That, you know, I would like to see. I would like to see everybody. Everybody live in the city. Yeah, I like to see
I
everybody
know.
live in the city. So,
I know,
go, young man, go ahead with your.
but don't, why you
It's
talking
the
about what
public.
you saying?
My question is, what are we going to do about all the gun violence in Ben Harbor?
Okay, all right.
Chief, you. Let me see.
There's many actions and investigations going on, have been and currently going on. So again, that's what we have been focusing on for that. And we have found that when we get the right people and get connected with them, that it goes down. So that's what we work on and will continue to work on for your safety and everyone else's. It's a good question. Thank you, sir.
Angela Berry.
Angela Berry. Angela Berry.
Oh, wow. Hello, everyone. I was here before. One thing we have to do is we have to get an understanding of everything. A lot of us is talking, but we're not getting an understanding of everything. As far as I'm concerned, it's like I said before, it's the parents' responsibility when it comes to the children. These police officers, these commissioners, or anybody else is not responsible for my children. I am. Period. I don't even want you to be responsible. That's the type of woman I am. I don't even want you to be responsible for my children. These shootings going on, they got to stop somewhere. These people that's having these parties, something got to give. You just can't keep going on and letting people do what they want to do. We're not talking about the people that's having parties, just birthday parties and just at-home parties, family parties. We're not talking about all those. I comprehend. Some people need to get the comprehend in here. It's just that simple. You know, we don't need all these questions. Anyway, I've worked in the school for over 20 years. I worked with children for over 20 years. And it hurts me to see a lot of our children getting killed. It affects me. You know, 1 minute they're here, the next minute they're gone. I'm not here for play. I'm not here for just to be seen, okay? I'm here for because that's real love. It's really, really real love, and I mean that from my heart. These parents need, Detroit to start charging the parents, start ticketing the parents for when their children doing things. Maybe y'all need to think of that because to me, common sense, I never held nobody responsible for my child. I birthed that child. Come on now. Make that make sense.
Derek Bishop.
Derek Bishop.
How y'all doing? I said, how y'all doing? Y'all sleeping here or something? My name is Derek Bishop. Those my son and my nephews came up here. I'm here on behalf of my nonprofit, Faction Urban Outreach, and my main focus is youth violence and gang violence. And I chose them areas of my specialty because them the two areas that I know the most in terms of violence. And I feel like understand science is key. Like everybody know right from wrong, but most of our children don't know cause and effect. And even with being held accountable, I feel like even with being held accountable, there got to be a layer of restorative justice and understanding to talk to our children. Yeah, they got Boys and Girls Club, they got the youth center, they got the teen center and everything else. But that's a limited time. And even with Mr. McGinnis putting out here that he coached football, he not the only police officer on staff, and I'm pretty sure he's not the only police officer that play or coach football. And football is a seasonal thing. We need some year round. And even though parents got to have control of their children, most parents are still in survival mode. So when you're in survival mode, like I can tell you this from experience, a child in survival mode is going to be way worse than any savage animal. Because when you're in survival mode, you don't have a chance to grow. And I also feel like there's some commissioners that lack the ability or lack the will to do so. And there's also some police officers and some school board members who don't take time to build familiarity with the community. If any of y'all took off your uniform, put on civilian clothes, and half the city probably wouldn't even know y'all. And that ain't our fault, that's your fault. And Mr. McGinnis said I could talk about accountability. I want to know who the person was for Ben Harbor Police Department that got a line that said they was going to start housing folks in Marion County Airbnb, like behind about jail and incarceration and something to play with. Even though we got freedom of speech, if I get on there and post, let's put wings on pigs, somebody will be trying to lock my black ass up. And then even when it comes to summer jobs, there's only 25 of them that gave them for the city. We got township and we got city, so how's 25 summer jobs gonna be enough for the kids? Then you got to talk about an account for the community guard. Why don't y'all just start adopting some pay out of the commissioners? Well, why don't you just give up your pay, because you've been in the city anyway. And then Mother Emma Kennard, why the hell is she on the commission, but y'all not respecting her wishes, her class, and her pleas for help? When she got a whole tree hanging over her fence finna fall down on top of the community garden, but y'all got the time, energy, and money to go out there and cut down the power line next to the tree. But the damn tree, but the roots been cut on both sides, but the tree's still hanging there. I was just there yesterday with my sons. I went live on Facebook. So we're gonna talk about accountability. Let's keep it all the way real. Because the city ain't just on fire from the young people. The city on fire from a lot of old people that caused the cancer to grow. Like a lot of our youth is sick, but a lot of things wrong with our young people in our town. They fall on y'all old people too.
Thank you.
Naisha Hull.
Hello.
Okay. We need to, hey, we got to have the people speak. If you got other conversations. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Naisha Hall. I want to speak with McGinnis and Deputy Clark on a personal issue that I've been trying to get in touch with you guys for the last 2 weeks. I haven't got a phone call back or anything about a personal issue, but I want to speak on. I've been on Empire for 13 years, and I've seen a lot of stuff living on Empire. I've been there 13 years. I have 3 daughters. I'm a single mother of 3. I have seen kids walk past my house with big guns hanging out, groups of kids. I contacted the police didn't show up. But as soon as my daughter have a barbecue for her birthday that she do every year, the police show up. So anytime something going on in my house, police surround my house for girls. But when I call about kids that's walking around with guns, breaking in cars, y'all don't show up. But now y'all giving me an issue when I got called a nuisance. And I'm a responsible grown woman of 3. I got called a nuisance by Clark. Yeah, I got called a nuisance, said I'm becoming a nuisance because my car got hit in front of my house by a drunk driver. And Ben Harbor Police Department did not investigate. They let her go free. Didn't check to see if she drunk. Didn't check to see if she had insurance or anything. I followed up on the police report. The police report was nothing there. It wasn't nothing. They didn't investigate. They let her go drunk. She hid liquor. My neighbor told them she hid liquor in the trash. They never looked into that. They let her go. So been without a car for a whole year, suffering because the police didn't do their job, what they supposed to do. No, I didn't have insurance because my car was not running. My car was parked on the street. I don't park my car in the back because they break in cars. My car got broken. I've been here 13 years. My car been broken numerous of times. Police don't do nothing. But when something goes on, when me and my girls have something, y'all come over there and harass us and everything else. Now I'm becoming a nuisance, and my house is getting ready. They want to threaten me about putting me out of my house now. Because my daughter had a barbecue, and everybody on that block, Michi live on my block, everybody on my block have parties, and they park in that lot. Nobody say nothing. Everybody on my block have parties, and they park in that lot. I don't have no problem with that. As long as they don't bother my household, I don't care. But as soon as my daughter had a barbecue, and the guy down the street had his little party. It was grown people on one side. Well, they was all mixed together that day. It was prom that day. So all the prom kids pulled up. I wasn't there. I was out of town. I told my daughter it got to be over. When she called me and told me that it was another party going on, I said, well, y'all gonna have to shut it down because I don't want to go on. I'm not there. My door was locked. Nobody went in and outside my house. I told her I want to be over by a certain time. I wasn't responsible for nothing else that was going on that street. I heard a group of boys pulled up with guns, and my older cousin made them leave. I heard it was gunshots shot down the street or something. I don't know. I'm not held responsible for anything, but every time somebody call about guns, y'all don't show up. But now y'all talking about a party, a nuisance party. Why don't y'all show up when these kids be walking down? Michi, I know Michi didn't think the kids walking around with guns. Don't no officers pull up, like none. And I didn't call numerous of times. And I don't be trying to get nobody else's kids in trouble, but the reason why y'all making this big deal about these parties is because these kids out here killing each other. If y'all get these kids with these guns, how they getting these guns? It's so many kids. Well, I seen kids with guns from down to their feet up here hanging out. And the police do not show up when I call. And I know for a fact I didn't call numerous of times. So, like I said, McGinnis, I would like to speak to you in private about the issue, but I just had to say what I had to say. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that, and we'll reach out to you. Make sure I get your number before you go.
Okay. Mary Alice Adams.
Mary Alice Adams. Many know me as previously known as Commissioner Adams. And when I think about the mobile Newtons, I first thought about, oh no, more car chases. I can't solve all the problems with just one person running for an elected seat to be a voice for the people of the city of Benton Harbor, as I have been since 2002. And a lot of the movement that you see right now, I've played a part in the growth of the city of Benton Harbor. I happen to be running again, too, because I have some unfinished business. And a lot of it you all have addressed already. But I want to touch base on being a mother, being in prison, facing 4 life sentences. I get the pleasure to sit here and serve my city, my community. Mother of 5 boys, 1 daughter, 1 murdered to gun violence. I would never in this world do anything to put anger in a child's heart, especially over water. That's a human right. I started a garden 8 years ago, reaching out to this community, please come, let's do this. And until we come together as a community, we come together and have these conversations as a community with our officers, we won't get our problems solved, because they're all of ours and we're all affected by them. We don't have money. Somebody I came down here to find out what was going on in Benton Harbor when I came back after getting out of prison. Why do my city look like this? Well, actually, I'm personally responsible for early stuff that I did when I was young and dumb. So I came back and decided to stay instead of passing through to try to fix and be a part of the solution instead of the problem. And I think I've done very well in my decision making, because nobody else has. And until any of you all, you think you can fix it. Some people have accused people in these seats of stealing money. My hands never touched any. since 2002. Not a penny. Down here working for $25 for a meeting. Having to go and work in my beauty shop. I don't have time for partying. I used to do it. I used to be the party starter. But we grow up and we become responsible when we're having children. It's hard watching you all not have anything to do. I've worked tirelessly, but I've had the opportunity to be the leader of my brother's keeper for the Obama Foundation, if I may continue, please, because this is important. And the previously elected superintendent is going to work with us, with the Obama Foundation. My brother's keeper and my sister keeper will be housed in the school. We know that the Boys and Girls Club is not equipped for all of the children in this community. We're working on the armory. We're working on some things for you guys. It takes time and it takes money, but when you don't have any, if I tax your parents, we can't afford shoes. I mean, this thing is a weigh and measure thing. Benton Harbor has been so broke because of riots against black and white people. They picked up and left this community. They took the jobs, they took the factories with them. We are in the process of having to rebuild. And they're coming back. And then we're being accused of giving them this and giving them that. We are all down here in this thing together. And we all play a part in it. And if we all just do a little, me as one person wouldn't have to do so much. Because I've been down here at meetings, committee meetings, since 2002.
You finish up.
Taking care of my family, a married woman, and running a business.
Thank you.
And taking care of our business, though, getting stuff done. Let me say just one last thing. Somebody said something about dispensaries, and I was the author of those that brought hundreds of thousands of dollars
That's another.
that we didn't have.
That's another subject at another time.
It is, and I'll
Okay,
finish
thank
it later.
Next. Next.
Shalimar Lewis.
Shalimar Lewis.
Hello, I got a sore throat. So my issue is the land bank, and for the last 2 weeks I've been calling down to the city manager's office or code of compliance, and I was told that there's a hole on the city's land bank and that there is no contracts being handed out. These city lots, the grass, I'm 4'11", the grass is tall as me. I had to come down here, cuss and complain about a lot that I was willing to take care of, but the city said no, they had the manpower, when in fact they didn't, and then they backdoored a contract to somebody. So I just want to know, is the land on hold and are there being contracts? Because I know the city doesn't have that much manpower to mow these lots. The city looks a mess by city-owned lots. So.
Mr. Manager, you want to address them? Got to ask for.
The city has its crews cutting lots. Mostly, it has been concentrating on parks. We are starting to use a couple of contractors to help keep some of these lots under control. And we are now starting to also post notices on private properties that have not been cut, so we can start doing what we have to do with that too.
How do we go about getting contracts if it's a contractor that
well-
has a contract? How do they go? Because I was told that the city wasn't doing contracts, that the city manager wanted that work to be done in-house.
That's
when
correct.
that was a lie, because the person that's cutting the lot that I complained about, is actually a contractor, a friend of mine, that said, I know he don't work for City of Ben Harbor.
That's correct.
So, are you giving out contracts or no?
We're giving out purchase orders to certain contractors to try and
So it's of your
control some of
choice.
these, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Next.
Tyrone Davis.
Tyrone Davis. Turn back the hands of time.
All right, I don't need to sit down. My name is Tyrone Davis, and what I'm talking about is, for those who don't know, I have a business in Benton Township, but I've never been hard. And I'm one of the ones that, Mr. Field, that called the tow companies to come tow the cars away from my business on that day. For the simple fact, I understand that it's my responsibility as a business owner to make sure that that parking lot and the people are safe. And at that time, it wasn't. You know, and I made sure that, hey, Jeff Tolles was there. I called a few more other ones, come tow them. Because that was my agreement with the people was, I'm gonna make sure that everybody was safe. Whether people like me or not, my job is to make sure that the people are safe. The reason that a lot of the stuff that's going on in the city around these stores is the simple fact, they are fronts for drug dealers. We're gonna keep it 100. You know, that's what they do. They sat up there, they let the Indians come in there, they speak with them, they watch, they sit up here and say, oh, okay, well, you go here and be the front for me. I'm gonna keep a watch out for you. I'm gonna make sure nothing happens to you. And that's what happens. Now, what the main thing, like you said, y'all used to have a program where you shut down at this time of hour. Y'all need to bring that back for them. And I understand exactly what you're saying. Because that's the only way we're gonna get them up out of there. And you know, and like I say, everybody know that I had the Howard Johnson over in Mount Inn. When they told me to shut down, I shut down. Because when I went into the business, I didn't know what was really going on. And I shut down, no problem. When I get on back under compliance, I'll open back up. That's how business is supposed to go. We got these people out here saying, well, you know, I want to sit up and half play around with them. It's business. It ain't nothing personal. And I think everybody just going around with their emotions instead of going around with business. I lost almost $100,000 within a few weeks. I can't complain because it was my fault. Everything that goes on is your responsibility. If you step into the game, be willing to play the game. This ain't checkers, it's chess. All right.
Shay Washington.
Shay, who is that?
Shay Washington. Shay Washington.
Shay Washington.
How y'all doing?
Good.
I want to refer to on this booklet to page number 1 with all of these incidents that happen, and I can 10 times out of 10, the majority of this is young people causing the incidents, and it's young people that's happening to the young people. But my thing is, if y'all know that the young people are the ones that's causing all of these so-called laws and whatever to be put into place, but y'all harass the older folks. When I say older folks, I just turned 50. So 40 and over, y'all harass us too. We be down there at the river, chilling, having a good time. I mean, no violence, no nothing. The police would ride down there with their bright lights on, shining in people's face with the loud horn. For what? Ain't nobody doing nothing. I mean, just probably had a rough week. They worked all week and just want to chill out and just catch a breeze, but y'all harass them. I just don't understand. And as far as with the nuisance or whatnot, again, it be grown folks' party, and they still get harassed without the, you know, the fighting or the shooting. Everybody chilling, having a good time. I'm just not understanding what is the problem with putting young folks and older crowd together, as in they are the problem. And also, these not questions, these just comments. Far as with the it's nothing for the kids to do, and far as like they need money. When I was younger, we had 4-H. That didn't consider money. That was a building where they had different youth basketball team for every Saturday.
Excuse me, ma'am. We can't hardly hear you because people want to have their own conversation. Please, if you can take it outside so we can hear our speaker, please be courteous to the speaker. Thank you. Go ahead, ma'am.
We also had the rec center. They had rec center dances. They swam on all through the week. we had the art skating ring where they was in walking distance. You have all these empty vacant buildings downtown Ben Harbor, but it's not affordable to Ben Harbor residents, and I don't understand that. People can, if it can get made affordable or whatnot, maybe they can try to raise money or come together as a community to get whatever they asking for to turn it into something that's walking distance for the kids to do. That's why all the violence and the kids don't have nothing to do. That's all I got to say.
Pastor Lynch.
How's everybody doing? I wanted to listen to the director at the beginning of the meeting, and I believe everyone should accept the apology, as you said, that you all jumped the gun. I think it's very important how we issue press releases to the news, because how it looked on the news, it was about house to house. And it didn't spell it out that it was really about businesses. Now, I don't know if this is 57 here, but 57 is horrible on that Facebook. And people have said some cruel things about residents in Benton Harbor based off of what you all have given them. So I would ask first if you would, since everything is already on record, that you'll retract the statement based on not just talking about C-stores, not the gas stations and the community buildings that people are renting, but you're not talking about people's homes and private residencies and so forth. So that's my first question for you. You say yes? Okay. And with that being said, it seems like people that's on the commission and the committee is not really spelled out. I think you all had a couple discrepancies on. So is there a time that you all will meet first before that statement goes out, before the community? Because to me personally, I stay downtown. And I think they had a situation at the Hawks. Now, I never experienced any violence. It may get a little rowdy at times, but I think that the way the police engage in these situations, if you're going after stores, I think you should take a one-shot approach and go after that first. And I don't believe that stopping parties is going to stop violence. Just like I don't believe that if we have more things for kids to do, no disrespect, I don't believe that's going to stop violence either. Because we can talk about all of this, but even if the rec was open, they're not going to be open at 2 o'clock in the morning. So there still have to be some type of control when it comes to our children. And I believe Benton Harbor being a small place, you don't have 70 shooters. So I think you'll never stop crime until you identify criminals. So you're going to have to just pick up the speed as the chief and as the deputy and the director and identify, as we talked a few weeks ago, Clark, and figure out and identify who are the shooters and get them off the streets. Because people are more likely to shoot in a small confined area than downtown with 400 people shaking their butt in the middle of the street. That's not going to happen. So if you'll retract the statement, and I think that'll help us get a little bit further so that South Bend, people that don't even live here, won't look at Benton Harbor like it was just a whole bunch of animals. Because the video that they put on social media and on their broadcast looked like the people here are literally out of control. So that's what I'll ask for you to do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pastor.
Commissioner Henderson.
Commissioner Henderson.
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to, I've heard a lot, and like the chief started out saying, appreciate the dialogue, because a lot of times that's what's missing when we're trying to bring order to a city. But I will say, I'll start off by saying, when I ride over into St. Joe, and I'm one of those people, I like good beats, and I like to listen to my music loud, sometimes when I'm in my car. But when I hit that bridge over there in St. Joe, it's a big sign on the right-hand side that's part of their ordinances that says loud music will be, we prosecute something with loud music. So, fine. So I turn down my stereo when I hit that bridge right there, going across the bridge. And I'm saying all that to say this: we have to have we can't operate lawless within the city. We have to have some controls, some things to control some people's behavior. It's not everybody's. I heard the young man talking about the people on this commission. I'll say this: I started out with Strikes Against Me. I was born to 2 heroin addicts. My mother and father were addicted to heroin. And they went down, how they make their money was, they were shortchangers. So they go up between Chicago and here to make money and to get their drugs. So both of them, so I started off, my sister and I, addicted. So to know people's story, just because you see them all dressed up, you don't know what's behind that curtain that they're in. So I came to serve because of how I came up and because I love and care for the community of Benton Harbor. But we have to have some laws to make it safe for people. When I have elderly people and long-term residents ringing my phone, knocking on my door, and all seeing me, I seen somebody at the market today. I need to talk to you, Commissioner Henderson, about something that's happening in their community. We represent everybody. We don't represent just black folks, white folks, businesses, kids, everybody that lives in our community that's under that jurisdiction of City of Benton Harbor. We have to care about. So there's a lot of issues in the city, few resources as we talked about to go around. So there are rules in the community, but when people come in Benton Harbor, they feel like they can do anything. I was riding down the street, somebody in front of me opened their door and tossed a bag of trash out. Tossed the bag of trash out. I was trying to get the license plates and all this kind of stuff. So even when we see that kind of stuff, somebody said they saw kids with guns. You gotta call the police on that. I see kids walking down the street. You don't want to. But she said she saw the guns. We have to call on those kinds of things. We can't be apathetic to crime happening in our community because once that happens, it just continues to pile up. It's like the broken window effect. They doing this, they doing that. We might as well continue to allow this stuff to happen. They ain't gonna do nothing no way. No, that's not true. That's not true. In 2020, when we were under quarantine, people was hanging out at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, just unruly, having fun. There wasn't any shooting, but it was like my neighbors was having issues with this. And so part of our job is making sure that there is peace in our community. And part of that peace is people doing stuff in orderly fashion. And so we're not here to prevent people from having parties or having fun or enjoying their life. I like to have backyard parties. I like to have an occasional wine or a drink or a bourbon or a scotch or something like that in my backyard chilling. So we definitely are not trying to eliminate those kinds of things happening in our community, but we do need to put some controls in place for businesses that's out of control, that Main Street Market, that Sunny Spot, that AJ's, that A&D's. We need to put some controls in place, and I'm 100% for doing so because, as you know, we have a lot of people living in this community and few taxpayers. And so my obligation is to everybody, but at the same time, I want to make sure my homeowners and people that's living in my community feel safe when they go places. They're not worried about somebody shooting at them or doing something illegal to them when they're in the community. And we all have that responsibility. And I would say to the party planners, man, y'all is some business folks. And so we need to get together to come up with a solution to do it once a month or once every Friday with some folks in this community to create a safe environment for people in the community. There's a way to do those things to make it safe for everybody. And I'm definitely all for the solutions, and I'm excited for the young people in this room that got these ideas, so maybe we can come together as we talked about to create a safe space for these kinds of activities. And so that's all I have. And again, I love the dialogue and I like to keep it up. So thank you all for coming out.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else?
Robert Whaley.
Robert Whaley.
feel like every time I come to these meetings, right, I learn more and more about this city.
Mr. Wade, can I say something real quick? So you weren't here when I started. So when I started out, I mentioned your party, and that at the time that we saw you, you were actually in compliance inside. And additionally, you actually talked to him. This is Clark. That's Kaz.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just want to be clear on that. That we discussed you because you weren't here, but you weren't in compliance at the time we talked to you.
Okay. Yeah. Like I was just saying though, I don't know. I lost my granny, so I've been trying to be like, I've been in and out, but I've been trying to stay focused on the matter at hand. But I didn't come to complain about the ordinance. I'm not totally against the ordinance that is being presented. I'm against some of it, if that makes sense. I come with some solutions instead of some complaints. And my solutions goes like this. How about we implement a curfew or shut down times for gas stations? Require gas stations, especially those identified as high traffic late night areas, to close or limit operations during designated hours to reduce loitering, noise, and unsafe activities. How about we enforce penalties for parking lot loitering? Establish and enforce fines and citations for individuals loitering in parking lots after hours to discourage gatherings that may lead to disturbances or unsafe behavior. How about we set a mandatory curfew or shut down times for all parties? Introduce a clear enforceable curfew or end time for private and public parties to minimize late night noise complaints, disruptions, and safety concerns. Review and improve the block party permit process. Evaluate the current process for organizing block parties and explore ways to enhance safety protocols while also encouraging neighborhood unity, engagements, and positive community building. The city ordinance define what is a nuisance. That's what I need to know. And I apologize to you. When you thought that I said something about racist, I never said that you was racist. I won't call you racist. But that word nuisance, it sounded racist to me. So I didn't understand it, and I'm when I don't understand something, I'm quick to say, what do it mean? So could you please define nuisance to me? Anybody?
So we had talked about that, and that's one of the things, because we are not actually done, so I'm going to close with some suggestions to move this forward. But one of the main things that you missed, Mr. Whaley, was the fact that the language is what's confusing.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Because
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
Just real quick. Just real quick. It's positive. It's positive.
But I just didn't want to come and complain about the ordinance. I mean, we got to come together as a community, and you guys, and we got to meet halfway and find out some solutions. I like the party. You know what I'm saying? And some people might not like the party because of the violence, and to each his own. You know what I'm saying? But I haven't had an event to where people was hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to make sure I pay a lot of money for that security team that comes here. And I want to say about the mace. The mace, I don't know about the mace, but I know about the taser. The guy, he had a body cam. I can get that to you. He's certified in that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in talk with them, and we can all get in talk. You know what I'm saying? But I try to make it safe. You know, it's going to be impossible to stop everything. You know what I'm saying? But you know, somewhere along the line, we got to take responsibility for the stuff that we do as people in this community. You know, and quit putting the blame on everybody else. You know what I'm saying? We got to do our part too. And then to the kids, man, y'all, that was amazing. That was amazing. You know, when I was young coming up, I had Coach Harvey, rest his soul, and he kept me out of a lot of stuff. We don't have that no more. You know, we got buildings and stuff. We got parks and stuff. There's no excuse that nothing that y'all couldn't do. But I had Coach Harvey. Coach Harvey come and get me in his old van. Man, he come and get me when I was your age, and I play ball all day long. And I just think, you know, we need to Yeah, it grab you up too. But I just think that, you know, when it comes to the kids, you know, we have to do better as a community about them too. You know what I'm saying? We see them, but we ain't doing nothing. So we just got to start, you know, doing better with that. And I wish you guys the best of luck. You know what I'm saying? I know it's hard growing up here in Ben Harbor. I grew up here, but I'm gonna tell you this: you can do it.
All right.
I did.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Whaley. Next.
Nick Gunn.
Nick Gunn.
Going nowhere near on time. How he get on the list? Set that timer.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Nick Gunn, coming to you guys as a board member of the Benton Harbor Arts Association. And July 19th, we have the Children's Art Fair. It's coming up. Benton Harbor Arts Association has been in our community since 1997, and just tons of different great events that just highlights the vibrance in arts, the vibrance in culture, just the vibrance of all the different things that we have in our great community of Benton Harbor. So I just invite you guys to July 19th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Just got finished up walking with different business owners in the Arts District, walking around the Arts District and just mapping out how the event's going to look. So it's going to be a great event, July 19th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tons of activities for kids. We're going to be giving away free hot dogs again, face painting. Sorry, Commissioner. Cotton candy, popcorn. If you don't want hot dogs. Yeah. Just tons of other lemonade. Just different business owners will be providing different things. DJ, music, all kid appropriate. Kids will be performing. They'll be doing their different dances. The Citadel, they'll be having different instruments, an instrument petting zoo. So if you guys are interested in learning how to play an instrument, there's different things in the Arts District that students can come down, learn how to do art. We have glass blowing. There's a indoor golfing spot downtown. So it's just a tons of different places that are here that's affordable for everybody to just come down on July 19th and just have a good time. So thank you all.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Mr. Duncan.
Oh.
Mr. Duncan.
I don't have no hot dog. I don't even eat hot dog.
Me either.
But I have no problem with that gentleman. But I do have a problem with you eat hot dogs all the time. And drink and all of that.
At the Lions
And
game.
my thought is, close them down. If you don't know who I'm asking the chief to close down, I'm saying close down the Indians and their stores. Because they only have junk in there. I mean, there's nothing nutritional in there anyway. So,
go do it.
They never liked me anyway because they always called me chief or pimp and I don't take that. You can't do me like that. I'm not going to go in their store and become angry because they don't know how to respect me. Sisters got these kids go in these stores, they hear everything. You think you don't hear everything in that store while you're in line? Mm-hmm. You heard it. I got problems with this whole picture. Mainly because I was born here in the 50s, and we had Jean Clark Park, which was ours, back in that day and time. And I never knew it until I was over 50 years old, and it was a city a city beach that was given to us. You guys know about James Clark Park? See, that's what I'm talking about. Do you? How long you been knowing about it? Since you was about 2 years old? Good, because I didn't know about it until I was almost 50 years old and was born there. And when we used to go out there, they used to tell us, you have no reason to be out here. You're not chaperoned. But it was my beach. And I never forgot that. And I've been through the system and out the back door too. You don't have to listen. You can cut me off if you can tell me to stop right now if you want to, because I know how it goes in here when somebody is trying to say something, and I got some issues. And I'm not a nuisance. No pun intended. I've been here so long, I want things to be right. I don't know exactly how to go about it because I get overdone when I come here. I'm cooking when I come though. Good. But I get overdone and you guys help that. If you're not part of the solution, no, let me stop that. If you're not the solution, you is the problem. I just want to see, I'm a product of the 50s, 1950. And I've seen the worst of police, I've seen the worst of my people, I've been the worst of my people. I went through the system from juvenile hall to penitentiary, and I don't want it. I do not want this thing to continue. That's why I'm on your case all the time, all of them, and especially you, because I want it to be better. And the only way it's going to get better is if we get communication, ongoing, continuous information. That's why we're trying to get, say it again, I forgot the name of it, I need that help.
The newsletter.
A newsletter that goes to every,
I ain't say nothing.
a newsletter that goes to every family in Benton Harbor about any and everything that's gonna be offered to the citizens of Benton Harbor. They downplayed it. I can stop if you.
Oh, yeah, man.
This is on you guys.
listen,
I'm an old man. I can talk out in the hall.
You'd had 2-3 minutes. Thank you, Mr. Duncan. We really.
They downplayed the newsletter where all the information, all the events and things would be actually happening in the city of Benton Harbor could be put into that newsletter. And we got dissed. You know what that means?
Okay.
Ignore, said no to in about 3 or 4 different languages.
All right, Mr. Duncan.
No, I'm not finished though.
Yeah, we got you.
I'm not finished. I'm not finished. I got one more thing I'd like to say.
You'd had 6 minutes, man. Come on now.
You counting minutes because we.
No, I'm just being fair to everybody else. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I always say, if you're not part of the solution, you is the damn problem.
All right. Thank you. That brings us to Public Works. If you don't have no comments today.
Yeah, Excuse me,
Okay,
I
let's go.
wanted to hear the people's comments and then make my recommendation.
Okay, all
if
right,
that's okay.
let's go.
So again, first of all, thank you everybody for their comments, for some very constructive stuff. I even thank Ms. Hall for yelling at me. I had been off. You'll be hearing from me tomorrow. All right, so we can talk. Appreciate that. I just want dialogue. And the other young lady that was been kind of scowling at me. Thank you for your comments too. So here are my recommendations. I'll submit this to you and the city manager for a decision. About three things. One, I think I would humbly request that we look at this and bring it back to legislative next month. And here's the three issues that I have, and I think I'm echoing what they're saying. And also, remember when I wrote your number down? It was on the last page of a totally used up thing. I need it again. I think we need to discuss the language in the title because I think that's the thing that's giving people the misconception of what it means. So I would submit that we do that. There's some language on intent that I personally have some trouble with, particularly the last sentence, Part B of Section 2, where it says proof of specific intent shall not be required as a necessary element, but proof of general criminal intent shall be a necessary element. I think that's a little bit confusing and contradictory. And then my ultimate last point is for the violation of penalty is Section 4, where it says this is a misdemeanor. Here's my problem with that. Again, I'm being transparent here. The commission, I'm bad with time. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we decriminalized a lot of things that were misdemeanors that should not have been. This goes against the spirit of that. If we were to have a penalty, I would submit that we consider it to be civil infraction to be in line with everything else because a misdemeanor is a criminal conviction.
Right.
And that's not what we want.
Right.
I think that's a problem. So I would submit that that's the decision of the manager and this board, but those are my recommendations. And then also I would add, I think, because I've made this recommendation before, that we consider shutting down at 2, period. Because all these stores are our 24-hour stores for discussion. Then ultimately, when this is fixed, to put out the clarifying statement that Pastor asked for so that we are clear when we move forward that citizens know. So that would be my recommendation. We will move as we are directed, and I am done and I yield.
Okay, with that said, consensus to move that to the legislative committee?
Consensus to move forward?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank everybody for coming out, the general public, for your comments. They have been taken notice of, and we'll continue to move this down. You can come to the legislative committee meeting next month, first Wednesday of next month. That's the legislative committee, 5:30 at same place. So this thing will be worked on. The ultimate goal is to get something that's fair, safe, and good for everybody. So thank you for your comments.
Before everybody goes, we did talk a little bit about activities for youth. So I just wanted to outline a couple activities that are still ongoing in our community. Nick mentioned earlier the Children's Art Fair happening July 19th. Right now we are next week will be week 3 of the Peace League in Broadway Park. So it's a basketball league. We're still accepting young people, girls and boys, I should say, 7th grade to 11th grade. So please come to that. See me afterwards. I got you. And then Outside the Lines camp starts. It's for, I can't remember the ages, but it's a youth camp. It starts July 21st through August 1st. So registration opening for that soon. Boys and Girls Club has a STEAM day on Thursday. Looks like it's going to be fun. I'm going to be there. So, and then there are also other things happening around the community. So, and also I want to add, especially when it comes to Present Pillars, if there's anything that you want to see, we find funding for things all the time. So if there's things that you want to see, that you want to do, especially to our youth, please come to us and say something. So if you need our number or whatever, it's 269-363-4000. We're at 204 West Main Street. And there are other organizations and individuals around our community that do care. So seek us out. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gunther. We appreciate you, what you do in this community. Yep.
Yeah, and then commissioners, even our city manager has attended different events that we've had in the community, like the All Things Wellness, different events. And then I did want to reference that if you had been at previous public work and safety meetings, the chief has been talking about holding the stores accountable. Had even had meetings with stores in regards to closing early on certain days and things of that nature. So this type of energy will give him more power, for that matter, if citizens will also say close earlier, because we don't feel like our kids are safe and things of that nature. So it's not all bad. And I think, again, like how Commissioner Sharon had referenced, the chief actually saying, hey, yeah, this language wasn't ideal, and then us going from there is awesome. And then again, my biggest issue was the whole misdemeanor for youth, and because we had been at previous meetings that talked about like the loud music charge alone had people later on down the line couldn't get jobs, and then ultimately holding the stores accountable. That's what I felt like it was saying and trying to say, but I was trying to ask and for it to have clarity. So I think this was awesome, and again, a great turnout too. And I need to relax, but yeah.
This shows that the community and this government can come together and work things out. I see some hope in this community. With that, we adjourn to.
I just want to say one thing. Could we help Public Works out and put trash in the orange garbage cans?
Yes.
Just throw the trash. Well, thank you. Thank you.
We tried.
I'm sorry.
We tried.
Yeah.